This is Fabio Milano, and I have a paper here because he has so many achievements throughout his baseball career. I'm going to have to read a little bit off the paper. Anyway, he played professional baseball in Italy, and he was there for, I think, 12 years, correct?
13, yeah.
13, I'm sorry. Forgive me.
It's all right. It's all good.
He played it 13 years over there. He won 3 Italian championships, 3 European championships. He was also a 4-time All-Star and voted best reliever in Italy 3 times, and many other awards. I'm not going to read them off. Like I said, I'll be here for 10 days if I do that. But he also played, and we should bring this up too, he played in the World Baseball Classic for Italy, which is a big thing for any person. And he played in the Olympics in Athens. So with all that, I'm going to take a breather and say, Fabio, thanks so much for coming on. I greatly appreciate your time.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. It was good to see you. I haven't seen you in God knows how long.
Fabio, can you tell the viewers a little bit about you, and when did you find your love for baseball?
My love for baseball, really. I mean, I've been playing baseball since I was 4 or 5 years old, a little kid. You know, me and my brothers, you'd probably seen us running around in the yard all day. We played all sports. You know, I loved playing baseball, playing basketball, soccer. Grew up, I was a huge soccer fan when I was a young kid, you know, with my dad playing soccer and everything. So I think I just loved being outside and loved playing sports, being active. So I don't think I really, like, the love for baseball probably really hit me sophomore, junior year in high school, maybe, when I really figured, you know, I want to play, I want to be a professional baseball player. But up until then, I was just happy to be outside running around and playing something.
How do you feel the game has changed from when you played till now? And do you feel like a lot of these kids have that same sort of determination as you did growing up? And, you know, whether it's lifting weights, whether it's, you know, training every day and being in the batting cages, out on the field, pitching all the time, such as what you did.
I think it's changed dramatically. It's so hard to keep up with today's training now. You got some of these programs these days, you know, these biomechanical things, you know, everything is so scientific now. Whereas back, you know, when I was a kid, we were playing, it's like, go outside, you do your long toss, you do some running, you do some weightlifting, and then you're good. Now it's all body specific, arm movements, shoulder movements, this, you know, lower half type of workouts to help develop, you know, core strength and torque and all these fancy words that these coaches throw out to these kids these days. These kids have so much information now. So it's just a whole nother world of coaching. And I'm still trying to catch up with it because I consider myself more of the old school where I believe more in a lot of throwing, you know, training your arm to throw, long toss, all that stuff. But I know that's just not how the world works anymore. And, you know, you read studies and it's about biomechanical stuff, you know, video analysis, data-driven baseball now. So, you know, it's just these kids have just a lot of it thrown at them. And it's just hard for me to explain to them, especially when I train a lot of young kids, a lot of, you know, kids from like 8 to 13 years old. I coach 12-year-old baseball, and a lot of these kids, you know, they hear all this data, you know, on Instagram or on YouTube or wherever they watch, and they come to me and they ask me about this, and it's like, you're 12. You don't need to know about all this stuff. It's too much. But this is all the stuff they have in their face. So I have to try to figure out how to interpret it into them and into their training, so they're not going too far and too crazy.
Speak on playing in Italy. How was that environment? Was it a lot different than playing in the U.S.? Was the fanfare better or worse? Or how was it over in Italy?
I loved playing in Italy. It was fun. For me, it was, you know, it's just a whole nother world of experience of life. Never mind just the baseball part, because for me, baseball is baseball. You can play, you know, Italy, U.S., Japan, Korea, China, wherever you want to play baseball, baseball is baseball. You get the ball, you throw it, you hit it, you run. It's just the life environment around it. And I think in baseball, it was more of a college type schedule. You know, we would play Thursday, Friday, Saturdays, or if we had, you know, a far travel team, like maybe go play south of Rome, whatever, or way down to the bottom of Italy, because I played in Bologna, Italy, and that's just up north part of Italy. So if we would have to travel to like Messina, which is the very bottom of the boot, we would play maybe a Friday night and a doubleheader on Saturday. So, and then all teams would get, at least my team, we got Sunday and Mondays off. So for us, especially for an American like me going to play over there, I had 2 days I get to go travel around Europe if I wanted to. So the experience of playing in Europe, I think, is amazing. Financially, probably about the same, maybe a little less playing in the minor league baseball, low A, single A. You're not playing for the money at this point. You're playing for the love of the game, for real, because you're not going to survive on making $800 like some of these young minor leaguers do these days. Even you get to double A, you still, I don't know what they make double, triple A, but it's nothing that you can say, I'm going to retire and live off for the rest of my life. So you do it for the experience. And over there, we had very good baseball. I mean, we had some years where we had, some big names from Major League Baseball come, they were at the end of their career. They wanted, a year or two more to play, and they wanted to come see Europe. So they would come and play in Italy. And we had very good baseball in Italy and Europe. Us and Holland are probably the two top teams in Europe, competitive-wise. So it's not like there were people coming to Italy and playing, Little League Baseball. It was really good competition.
So Fabio, can you talk about arriving there? And you did have a big tryout, and I'm gonna botch the team's name, so I'm not even gonna say it. But could you talk about that tryout and how that experience was when you, like you said, you're coming from a college kid in America, you're going over to play in a different country, and as you know, your family's from Italy and you're Italian yourself, it must have been an incredible experience, like you spoke about. But how nerve-wracking was that tryout?
So how it really happened, basically, I was working at Dave & Buster's in Rhode Island, and my cousin said, let's go, there's a tryout at URI for the White Sox. So I went over there. It was just a walk-on tryout, basically. And there was a gentleman, excuse me, who saw me pitch, and he goes, I have a guy in Italy who would love to have a left-handed pitcher. So I called him. He got me over to Italy. I wasn't really nervous about it because for me it was just baseball. I never got nervous playing this game. I love playing it. I don't know. I just don't get the jitters. So when I was there, I was there for a week. They flew me out, had a couple of practices. It was in 2000, so it was during the Olympics. Where were they? In Sydney, I think, that year. So
Yeah, you're right.
The league was basically on pause. So whatever guys were left, they kind of put together this like little weekend tournament. And so when I pitched in that game, I was supposed to pitch a couple innings, whatever. I ended up pitching 7 innings. I threw a no-hitter, struck out 17 guys, and walked two or three batters. So basically, 3 days later, they offered me a contract. It's like, yeah. So, I mean, it wasn't even about money. It was just about I get to continue playing having my baseball career go on.
So that started up, and then you kind of talked about the Olympics, and we talked about 2000 it being in Sydney, and then we moved to 2004 when it was in Athens. Can you talk about that experience? And
I mean, the Olympic Village was surreal. It's I mean, everything you hear about times 10. It was just amazing. We were in Athens, so it was August. I'll never forget that we had these thick jackets they gave us to go out for the ceremony. So we had to get ready about 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So you can imagine in the Greek sun at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, it was about 105 degrees. And we have these big, thick jackets. So we're getting ready to go walk through, the track, and just dripping sweat. But then you get close, they're about to call your name, like Team Italy, to go out and march in front of 60,000 people. I mean, all that just goes away, and you're just like mind blown. You're walking out, you have the cameras right there, and everyone's trying to get their face on camera, trying to say hi to mom or whatever they're trying to do. And then you just marching around, and you just, you look up and just, I've never been in a stadium with 60,000 people screaming for you, against you, whatever. It's just surreal. I mean, there's no other word I can come up with that would describe it.
how did Italy make out when you were playing for them in that Summer Olympics?
We played against some good teams. Like we opened up our tournament against Team Japan, who they're pretty darn good. We ended up going 1-6. We beat China Taipei in the bottom of the 9th, a walk-off win. But no, we played some good baseball. So I don't know if me personally, I don't think it was more about going there trying to win a medal. I think it was more for the experience at that point. obviously, we're a small country playing baseball against, USA, Canada, Japan, China. These countries, it's their bread and butter. Baseball in Italy is on the little bit of the bottom of the totem pole when it comes to importance of sports. You got your soccer and your basketball, and everything else just kind of flutters below that. But yeah, it's just being around all these professional athletes. I got to hang out with I hung out with Tim Duncan.
Oh, wow.
Because we had Team USA behind us. I don't know how the Greek alphabet worked, but it was Team Italy, and then Team USA was a team or two behind us. So I saw LeBron James. I met all the NBA players, which, that was awesome. Seeing LeBron James talking there and Allen Iverson walking around, these are amazing basketball players, and I'm just hanging out. I'm in the same place with them. It's amazing. Follow the other sports too much. We were doing our thing.
Yeah, you were busy, yeah.
We had, 3 games on, 1 day off, and then 4 games in a row. So when we weren't playing, I was strolling through the village, trying to, just meet people and just hanging out.
Playing in the World Baseball Classic, that's had to been another incredible experience you played in against the likes of U.S., Japan, and all the other teams that played in it. What was that experience like? Was it similar to the Summer Olympics, or was it a little bit different?
That is the one question I get a lot when people ask me about that. It's, the Olympics are the Olympics. Marching through with all the top athletes in every single country is amazing. But for me personally, as a baseball player, I felt the World Baseball Classic was a better experience because our little pool that we had was it was us, Italy, Dominican Republic, Venezuela, and Australia. So you're talking about 2 of the best countries in the world that play baseball, Dominican and Venezuela. So, I got to meet my idol, Dave Ortiz. Love the guy. I played against Miguel Cabrera from Venezuela, Juan Encarnacion. So
Wow.
I got to meet athletes that I admired, that I watched on TV, where compared to the Olympics, the best swimming athletes, I don't know any of them. But, I know they're some of the best athletes in the world. But my world of baseball, it was the Classic, and that was just an amazing time. And then getting to play with Mike Piazza as a teammate. John Franco was my pitching coach, who was, one of the best left-handed closers of all time in baseball history.
He was on the Mets, right?
He was on the Mets back in the day, yep. And he helped me tinker a little bit with my changeup, and that became one of my best pitches the second half of my career because little things he was telling me what to do with my hand that I never knew.
Right.
So it was just an amazing experience meeting people that I grew up watching on TV.
But do you feel like people that think it's boring is more of, as you said, this generation, because they're on Instagram. Everything's constant. Go, 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 go. I need to see a result within the first 30 seconds. I'm not going to watch a video on YouTube if it's more than 2 minutes long. So I feel like that's the reason why a sport like baseball that can go 2.5, 3 hours long, maybe even more than that if it's, pitches duel, something like that, those people will say, screw this, I'm not going.
Exactly, and that's the biggest problem with the kids today is that everything has to be done quickly. And for me, I think if you think about it, there's no better 3 or 4 hours you can spend with friends or family as sitting in the stands, drinking a cold beverage, eating a hot dog or some nachos, and watching baseball, sitting outside with the sun in your face. I don't understand why people are such in a rush to get out and go do something else, because I think it's very peaceful. You don't even have to watch the game. Most people go to the games, they don't even watch the game, but you're outside. You're with your friends. You're with your family. You're just enjoying the entertainment of the game. But people are like, no, this is boring. There's nothing going on. Well, you'd rather sit inside a basketball stadium, all that heat and inside, and you watch I don't know. For me, I would go to a baseball game every day if I could afford it. Here in Chicago, it's not very affordable to go watch a baseball game every day.
What is your opinion on all these new rules that are being implemented in baseball to try to make the game move fast?
Yeah, like I mentioned to you earlier, I'm a purist when it comes to this game. Yeah. I don't want to see I think it's called the California rule. Put the man on second, nobody out, or first and second, one out, whatever that rule is. I mean, these are Major League Baseball players. Let them do their thing. And like I said, it goes back to kind of what I said earlier about sitting in the stands and enjoying a baseball game. I will sit there for 5 hours and watch a 5-hour baseball game. I don't care. I know people don't like it. They have things to do, especially, you know, if it's a school night, games go until 12 o'clock, kids can't stay out. I understand all that. That's, you know, that's a whole nother conversation. But to ruin the game by these speed up rules, maybe the pitch clock, that could possibly be a good idea. Because some pitchers do take a day and a half to throw a pitch. That, for me, that drives me crazy. You know, being a pitcher, you get the ball, get on the mound, get ready to throw your next pitch. There's no need to take a lap around the mound in between pitches. But I don't know. I just don't like that all these changes of rules, whatever they're trying to do. It's just leave the game alone. Let these guys play. Let them do their thing and sit back and enjoy it.
What's the most exciting baseball moment that you've achieved?
Oh, geez. It's an exciting moment.
Playing in the baseball classic, was it?
Yeah, that's a tough one because, you know, the Olympics.
Olympics, yeah.
Olympics was, I mean, it's a toss-up between the pitching the Olympics, pitching in the World Baseball Classic. Man, that's a tough one to answer right off the bat. But I would say probably the World Baseball Classic would be my number one choice because, like I said, I got to meet some of my idols. I got to play against the people I watched on TV, you know.
Can you tell the viewers before we go, what exactly do you do? Are you like a manager, or do you do like lessons, or do you do both? What do you do with these kids in AAU?
I do both. I work. Okay. I'm the head coach of a 12U elite team in Wheeling, northern Illinois. And I do private lessons. So I have my own little business, Fabio Milano Baseball. I'm a private instructor. I do a lot of one-on-one training with a lot of kids. I have kids from the age of, I think my youngest boy is probably 7 years old. And I got kids all the way up until high school. And I have, I want to say two or three kids now, like the first wave that when I first started, 2014, doing these private lessons, they're finally in college right now. So I have a couple of kids. One's at Texas Christian, I think, and another kid's at Oakton Community College here in Chicago. Is one of the top junior colleges in the country. Actually, they think they won the College World Series last year. So it's one of the top junior colleges. So he's pitching there now. So it's awesome to see some of these young kids I've worked with, 6-7 years ago. Now they're finally, blossoming and, following their dreams into college too and keep going. But yeah, I've always dreamt about owning my own facility. But it's just tough around here with finding the brick and mortar around here. It's expensive, and I like being able to just kind of go where I need to go. I go to the people sometimes. I work out of three or four different locations. I don't have just one location I stay at. So like I have kids in the north side who want my help. I have a couple places up there I'll go to. Some kids in the city of Chicago. I have a facility here that I'll help out over there, and I'll coach their teams, and I'll do my private lessons there. So that's basically what I do. I'm baseball all day, every day.
Before you go, do you have a website, Fabio, that people can find more about you?
Yeah, it's FabioMilanoBaseball.com. Real simple.
All right, Fabio, thanks so much for coming on. Greatly appreciate it.
All right, man. Thank you.